The following presentation is brought to you through the paid memberships of NotaryStars.com, the only notary training platform and resource library with over 150 hours of training on every loan product under the sun. Together with our sister website, OnlineNotariesPublic.com, which focuses on notaries who are pioneering in remote online notary, we strive to give you a safe place to ask questions, get answers, gain confidence in your notary career, and achieve success without overfabricating the truths about our industry. If you would like to support us, please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel, sharing this video with a colleague, or becoming a member and trusting us to help you achieve the level of success you desire.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to MGM, Monday General Mentorship, brought to you by NotaryStars.com. Thank you so much for spending time with us tonight in our nationwide General Mentorship session for notary signing agents. And thank you for allowing us to be a voice along your path to signing agent excellence. This is where questions become connections, and we all have a chance to make our industry a much better place. This public training session is held every Monday, except for holidays, at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's all about you, the nationwide notary and signing agent community. Please remember, if you're driving, this meeting is being recorded, and we would prefer, if you're watching live while driving, that you keep your camera off and remain on mute. Please keep your eyes on the road. We care about your safety and well-being. You can always come back to our replays on YouTube anytime you wish. And if you subscribe to our channel, you'll get notified when we post fresh new content. Ronnie should be posting the link to our YouTube channel in the chat so you can subscribe today if you'd like. For those of you who aren't driving, we invite you to turn on your cameras. We want to see all of those smiling faces, even if you're eating dinner. As long as you're dressed, we don't care if you're eating. And really, it's just so much easier to interact with all of you when we can see your faces. My name is Beth Hathoot, and I am currently the lead instructor here at Notary Stars, as well as a former escrow title closer and a notary signing agent for the past 22 years. Today is Monday, November 13th, 2023, and I have with me only one of our two fabulous co-hosts. Mr. Bill Bumfries is out of town on vacation. He'll be back next week. But I have Mr. Ronnie Nickel, the founder and co-owner of Notary Stars, Unlimited Ink Notary, and Online Notaries Public. We have several questions and topics to address here tonight, and thank you all for your jot form submissions. We invite you, if you're turning on those cameras, show off those big smiles, get ready to ask your question or share something you know with your colleagues here today. Don't be shy or timid. All you have to do to get into the queue is virtually raise your hand by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Hey guys, this is your time and we want to hear from you. Just a couple of quick announcements for you. We've had several small changes happening on our website as we move things around and make way for adding new information. So if you haven't been there for a while, take a spin through all the tabs along that blue ribbon to see what's new for you. One update is right on the home screen. We've added a banner that will show you the most recent replays for the general mentorship sessions. So just log on, scroll past that live calendar of events, and you'll have easy access to the general mentorship replays. We also have added a short training document for the rescission calendar, and it talks about push holidays. So if you don't know what those are, check out that rescission calendar training document. We also have two very special events this week here at Notary Stars. Thursday, November 16th at 5 p.m. is a special presentation that covers how to spot a fake ID and identify our signers. This is a particularly sensitive area for us as it's our first duty as Notaries Public, but it's also the one area we get very little training on. So be sure to tune in on the 16th and watch this live. There will be a replay, but only for those who are members of Notary Stars and the training site. On the 17th, which is Friday, at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are starting a new series for beginner marketing. This is a limited series so that we can refilm and update all of the initial steps to get you started in marketing your notary business. This is in addition to the current advanced marketing classes that are held on Wednesdays. So you don't want to miss this series as presented by Mr. Ronnie Mickle. It'll get you caught up and ready to go into that advanced marketing class. Mr. Ronnie, are you ready to kick off the meeting by talking about why we share our website on Facebook, why it's considered good SEO, and how we can do it properly without feeling like an advertisement to other notaries, particularly if you build websites or create notary logos, etc.
Absolutely. First of all, welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you can join us tonight. I want to say, first of all, I see my first row of people got their cameras on. I would love to see more cameras on tonight. As we move into the digital age of our career, you are going to have to get used to being on camera. Zoom has filters. I'm using them right now. I got the lighting going. You can't do that when you're on Notary. Okay, so at least you can start off and get comfortable being right in front of the camera. You don't have to be dressed up. I'll tell you guys, sometimes I'm on here. You see me from here up. I got my booty shorts on right now. I will get up and dance for y'all if you need me to, but it's okay as long as we're from here up. I don't care if you're eating a sandwich or whatever. I want to see you guys' faces because it helps us actually when we're giving you answers to see your heads nodding or you looking like this, like, what's he talking about? It helps a lot with us interacting and making sure that you're getting the information that we're trying to deliver. With that said, we had recently, and I'm just going to say, first of all, our Facebook group is not a paid part of our platform, nor is this meeting. But when I started Notary Stars, I said, you will either be kind to one another or I just won't do it, or I'll get rid of you and I'll keep doing it. I want to tell you something. Posting your Facebook, we had a notary who just posted a happy Notary Public Day, what have you, and another notary jumped down their throat and tried to say that they were trying to market because it linked back to their website. And when I went to their website, actually the first logo I saw bigger than their own was the Notary Star logo. So I didn't mind. Listen, guys, sharing your website on social media conversations is perfect SEO. Part of the Google algorithm, and if you take my marketing course, you'll know this, sharing your website when you post something on social media, every time you post, you should include a link to your website. Now, if you're selling something to the Notary Stars or trying to underhandedly come in, we're going to catch that, okay? But if you say, hey, from, my company's name, Unlimited Ink Notary. Hey, everybody from Unlimited Ink Notary, here's a happy Notary Public Day. First of all, you're getting traffic to your website if anybody does click on it. And Google likes that. It wants you to share your information in social media. I encourage you to use this sparingly in other groups, but I actually posted a post in our Facebook group for everybody to post their website, and that's only going to benefit you. There's actually a thread where you can post your social media, and you should. And any group that doesn't allow you to, I'm sorry, but it's actually good and healthy. So I encourage it. I want you to share your websites in our group. Now, here's the thing. Don't come in our group and try to sell to other notaries your services, because guess what? They're trying to sell their services too. And they don't need your services. They are a notary. They probably got a friend who's a notary down the street or a mentor. So they don't need those things. But if you want to post your website and say, hey, or if you want to just say, hey, do you have any feedback on my website? That is a sneaky little trick for small business owners to say, hey guys, I built my own website. I'd love for you to go, because guess what? When you ask people to go to your website, you get traffic, and Google likes that. It goes, what is this website about? Why are people clicking on it? The more traffic you have to your website, the better. So I encourage it. I have a website. I want people to go to it. I don't care if they're customers or not, because guess what? Google likes that. And I want you guys to feel comfortable to post and sign your signatures, or if you have a Facebook page, sign that in. Now, if you're trying to sell something to the notaries like life insurance or whatever, we screen everything. Okay. We don't allow anybody to sell anything to Notary Stars that I haven't either spent my own hard money on or Beth and I both vetted. I used to spend my hard money on everything, but as of today, there just comes a point where I have to stop spending money and just conduct interviews. I've done the last 4.5 years, soon to be 5 years here at Notary Stars, proving to you guys that I don't just put BS on the website. So you'll need to, if you have something you want to sell, we give lots of people opportunities to present here at Notary Stars. So that you want to run by us if you're trying to sell something to the notary community. We encourage side hustles. We encourage people to have something, but we just want to make sure that you are doing the right avenue. But if you want to post your website, please do, because it's good for you to do so. It's good for your website. It's good for your business. And I want to see your websites. When I look at people who sign things in our Facebook group, I want to see everything I can about you. In a group, when you post, it only shows a little bit of limited information about your profile. This gives me a little bit more idea about who your business is and who you are and why should I listen to you. So definitely post your website links with your comments and grow your business. Miss Beth, I think we're ready to go with the questions because I know we got a lot of them tonight.
Well, the first few questions I've kind of all grouped together, and I think they're pretty much in your arena, Mr. Ronnie. We don't have any hands up yet, so we're going to go to our jot form questions. The first one,
That's right. By the way, everybody, if you brought questions tonight, we have so many from the jot form. So please, if you have something that you didn't write in, please feel free to raise that hand and get started. I didn't mean to cut you off, Miss Beth, but I want to make sure people watching are going to get those hands raised.
Get your virtual hands raised, guys. Go to the bottom of the screen and click on raise hands in the, what's it called? Reactions button. And you can raise your virtual hand. That'll get you into queue. And so we can call on you. You're as probably more important than the jot form questions we got. But these are all kind of grouped together for you, Mr. Ronnie, from several different people who submitted your jot form. How do I generate real estate closings? How do I get started is my problem because I work full time. And do you know of a step-by-step resource that shows how to transition from a W-2 job to owning your own business?
This is a wonderful question. And I know there were so many, and that there's probably so many of you on the call tonight that have this same question or are in this process. There may be some of you that have already transitioned to full-time, but there's always a way to get bigger, right? So this question actually is perfect for everybody on the call. We all know, how do we get started and how do we get more business and how do we keep propelling that? First things first, okay? I saw a couple of things that stood out from these questions, and it says, I've taken my training, and they listed everything but Notary Stars. And then I looked, and then they're not a Notary Stars, okay? We have a section on our website for all Notary Stars, and for any free listing, there's the first 50. There are over 300 signing companies, plus maybe 400 now. And we are actually going through between now and January and updating our list to make sure who's still in business. There are some that are gone out of business. I mean, we went through a downturn and a lot of those signing services closed, and we're going to be updating that list. But I remember the day that I decided to get serious about this industry. There are 300 to 400 plus companies, signing services out there that you may not have heard of yet. Some of us are louder than others. Some of us are smaller than others. And your name has to be in every single hat. So if you want to transition from a full-time job to a full-time notary work, or even get your name in for good part-time work, you're going to need to go through that list at Notary Stars and any other places that you have. And you're going to need to go through and put your name in the hat, okay? I would say the first 2 to 3 years of your business, you will find out who has the most business in your area, and you will build up your order counts, and those new signing services that come up will see you. But I am never going to say, don't take training. You need to know what you're doing. And when you take Notary Stars training, one of those questions said, a lot of times the signing services or the title companies want, 200 signings, 250 signings. We have 150 plus hours of training. When you complete our course, you need to lean into that and say, I've done 150 signings. You literally will have covered everything that you could possibly. Now, if you did it one time and you're like, I still don't get it, that's okay. And I'd love to brag about this, and I'm sorry, it took me till I was 32 to get it, so I'm going to brag about it a little bit. But that degree hanging in the back of the wall there, that's a master's degree in adult education and training. And I'm going to tell you, you have my explicit permission as the owner of this company and training company to need to go through training twice or 3 times. I've had notaries who've had to go through it 4 times, and they're like, you know what? I'm just starting to get it. Everybody learns at a different pace. Okay. My sister, God bless her, I love her. She could like stand next to a book and she's got it. Me, I gotta read it like 10 times. And I know you guys look up to me, but I have to tell you, I'm not the brightest light on the Christmas tree, but I definitely light up. You may be me. It takes me a couple times to go through things, but once you've done your training, you're like, I know how to do this. I could do this. Then you need to lean into that training and mark yourself down as I've done this, because you have done it. You've done 150 signings with 150 hours. We're taking you through every twist and turn that me, Beth, and Travis, and Bill Bumphrey have been through in a collective 35 years experience. You're not lying. Now, if you want our endorsement, you got to actually take the training, because if you sign up one day and you send somebody my way for a reference, I'm going to be like, well, they signed up yesterday, so there's no way. But if you've been here and I can see that you've accessed those modules over and over again, and that you've attended live classes with Beth who takes attendance, we're going to definitely mark you down and say, yeah, this is someone that we would endorse. And I get requests every single day. Can you write me a reference? Can you write me a letter of reference? Can you be one of my references? Absolutely. And you should be asking Notary Stars for references. Okay. We are a training company. If you are a Notary Star or Notary Star or higher member, you should be asking us for references. If you've worked with Unlimited Ink, our standard response is how many signings you've done with us. I'm not going to lean into if you've worked with us. If you've trained with us, that's where I throw down. This notary has attended every training, course that we've, had to offer. They have experience in this, and this. At Unlimited Ink, you could do one signing for me and blow it out of the water, but on the next one you could tank. It is a long-term relationship. And by the way, this is a perfect time to say this. We get tons of questions coming in, like, how can I get business from Unlimited Ink as a Notary Star? They are 2 separate companies. Unlimited Ink is only one company that uses Notary Stars. You hear about it more because I own it and I'm the face of both. But I will tell you that there are other signing services that use Notary Stars. We don't answer a lot of questions here about the Unlimited Ink processes at Notary Stars because it is an entirely separate company. It's got its own website, and Travis does the onboarding for those notaries and how they work. Notary Stars is how to get your career off the ground, how to expand it. Unlimited Ink is nose to the grind, I'm working. So it's cut and dry, very, very different. Like Notary Stars will prepare you to work with Unlimited Ink. Ms. Beth, we have one question up on the screen here. I want to go ahead and take that before we transition to the next questions. Mr. Joseph, if you are ready, I'm ready to hear your question.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And what you just kind of alluded to is what I was going to talk about. And I had the privilege of speaking with or emailing with Beth earlier. So Beth, thank you so much for the fast response. And I was trying to figure out the line of demarcation between Notary Stars and Unlimited Ink. And I get a lot of notifications from Unlimited Ink. So I was always trying to figure out, okay, man, it seems to be a lot of work in my Indianapolis area. So I'm like, man, I need to get on that train. And I want to get on the train. But as I was sharing with Beth earlier, my biggest desire is to be one of the best notary signing agents here in the Indianapolis market. And I really wanted to partner with you guys to do that. So I'm kind of understanding more and more of how the two go together or how they parallel with one another. And so what you're speaking of now kind of speaks to my question. So I appreciate that. I guess to ask a question, my question would be with regard to the training for Notary Stars, is it self-guided videos, or what would I expect from a training aspect of Notary Stars for my kickoff, if that makes sense?
Absolutely. So, Mr. Joseph, first of all, you said something that I really want to implement. Like, this is the perfect sales pitch if you want to work with someone. You said, I want to be the best signing agent in my area. I love that because we're all about signing agent excellence here. Okay. Everyone can be a wonderful signing agent. So, first of all, thank you for being in the right mindset.
Thank you.
When it comes to Notary Stars, we have two different ways to train with us. You can train through previously recorded videos, but then we have live classes 4, sometimes 5 days a week, where you can actually attend classes. And let's say you watch a reverse mortgage and you are having problems learning that particular file type, or you have questions about it. We have a class scheduled, every week where you can jump in and say, you know what, I really need to get some more information on reverse mortgage or HELOC, or how HELOC pertains to a buyer's file. You can jump in a class, and we have an instructor, Miss Beth, who will guide you with any questions that you have. Or if you need practice, or if you're nervous, she does these little games called Pass or Play, which people love. You can get your experience there. Some people don't need the live training, especially if you have a background, but it does help broaden your horizon with all the file types that are out there and the signature variances. So we have all of those, that big, robust training on every file type. But then if you need to interact with an instructor, we're there every day of the week. And then we also offer you guidance, and there's not a Notary Star on here. If you call, we're there for you. So that's what we do. And I do have to say this, because we kind of went down that road, and I just want to get this out of the way. I started Notary Stars because it is totally self-serving. I own a signing service. And when I need a notary and I need a good one, I need to know that they know what I know, because my clients are sometimes not that forgiving. And I have to tell you, whether you guys believe it or not, we use notaries from every training course out there, and the very best are Notary to Pro and Notary Stars. I don't care. I don't care if that makes me look biased, but all the other training courses don't seem to go over all the different types. And my signing service does not cater to just refinances. Refinances are the kind of the easy peasy file. If you mess up, you have 3 days to close on most of them, unless it's an investment or second home. That's where a lot of notaries get caught up. They live for the refi boom. I live for purchases and purchases and sales. I also do debt settlements, or debts consolidation is what our company is. We do photo assignments. We do general notary work. I need notaries who are trained on everything, not just one loan product. So that's why I originally started Notary Stars, and I have no shame in saying it's self-serving. I don't expect people to be Notary Stars forever, although I'm going to keep cranking out as many training videos as we can and updating everything every year, just to keep people in their greatness, because complacency does not mean growth. When you are complacent in your career, you're not growing.
Sure. Yeah. I appreciate that. That's a great response, and very encouraging. If I might ask just a part 2 to that, would it be safe to say that I was kind of going over the options, and it looks like the $29.95 a month would get me into Notary Stars to begin the process. Outside of, I know the marketing looks like it's $59.95, but is what we're talking about in the $29.95 per month package?
You have access to everything at Notary Stars under the $29.95 package, except for my marketing course. And no plugs here. This was not planned. This was a question that I hate talking about sales on a call like this, but I want to get your question answered, and I'm sure other people want to know. My marketing course goes over every aspect of digital and in-person marketing for the additional $25 a month. There's not a person in my marketing class that either I built their website for them or they built it that's not on the first page of Google and knows how to dominate. And if they haven't yet, that's only because they're still getting there. I literally am, outside of all the credentials I mastered. I teach on a program called Wix, which is a website editor, and I actually am one of their I am one of their experts. You can't just go out and fake the certification. You actually can call Wix and ask if I'm an approved expert in their program. So I know how the internet works. I know how their program works with the internet, and I teach people how to get their website on multiple pages. Wherever you want to come up, I can teach you how to do it.
Okay. And I feel like I'm dominating, but man, just to have your ear is awesome. My last question. So would it be safe to say that I would actually be able to to add that part on after I'm trained and then feel like, okay, now it's time for me to market, or would I start that now?
Great question. I always tell notaries, right before you think you're ready to go out to the field, that's when you want to start the marketing, because it takes
Right.
6 to 8 weeks for Google to even recognize you did anything anyway. So
Okay.
you really want to start that marketing process. And if you're already ready to go out in the field, start it today. But it takes 6 to 8 weeks for Google to kind of recognize any web page you built. I do teach you faster ways to get things ranking. We've seen responses in a week. But you really want to give it 6 to 8 weeks for digital marketing to kind of take effect. So yes, if you are almost ready to go out in the field, or you are ready, if you're ready, the time was yesterday. And if you're almost ready, the time is now.
Okay. Because I have a website, I have my Google page here in Indianapolis, and so but I know at a certain point it's going to be time to enhance that and make sure that it's the way it should be. But I don't want to get there until I'm ready to get there. I want to make sure that I'm ready when the calls come in. I want to make sure that I can handle and I'm the best at what I'm doing when I get there. I don't want to get it and then tank and be like, oh man, now I've messed myself up. So I don't want to put the cart before the horse is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that is exactly why I held off my marketing course for 2.5 years and did not start teaching marketing, because I really wanted to get a foothold for the notaries. But now I've also, all of you guys taught me that will come when it's time. So now I have it available for sale, but it used to be kind of like a secret course. And now I love your mentality. You have said 2 things tonight that I really love. Don't put the cart before the horse. And then you said that you want to be the best that you can be. Those are 2 things that have already got me feeling like you're going to be wonderful in this industry.
I appreciate it, Ronnie. Thank you, Beth, and I'll yield the floor and let someone else speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have another hand up, but guess what? This is a special guest. This is Miss Delora Snyder. She pops in every once in a while to kind of let our gallery in these open meetings know who she is and why she is here. She's actually somebody that well, first of all, she's a delightful young lady. You'll love her. But she is somebody that we rely heavily on to be a resource for our notary base in securing health insurance. Delora, please take the stage.
Hi guys, my name is Delora, and like Beth said, I'm here to help you all with your health insurance coverage. I work with U.S. Health Advisors, so I have access to coverage that is specifically made for self-employed people who don't get coverage, through a corporation or an employer. And a lot of self-employed people think that your only option is the marketplace, and open enrollment is right now. And sometimes that is the best place for you. But as an advisor, I can help you navigate health insurance and decide what your options are, look at the cost of everything and what it covers, and just kind of help you go through the motions. So I just wanted to introduce myself. Thank you, Beth and Ronnie, for having me here today. I will put my Calendly link in the chat box for you and my phone number. You're welcome to get a hold of me anytime that you need questions answered or you need help getting a plan for 2024 together. And you can contact me any of those ways.
Miss Delora, I just want to thank you for being here. I just want to remind people, remind what day open enrollment ends for this year. I know it just started, but when does it end for this year?
Yeah, it did just start, but it goes by really fast. So don't wait until the last minute. If you need a policy starting January 1, then you have until December 15th. After that, you have until January 15th to get a policy starting February 1. And then if you miss that January 15th deadline, then you cannot get a plan on the marketplace and your options are really slim. So make sure you don't wait, book a meeting right away with me and let's get that taken care of so you don't have to worry about it. I can't hear you. I don't know if it's just me.
No, it's not just you. We can't.
Okay.
I said I want to thank you. I had myself on mute. Sorry, I went off camera and was on mute because I was coughing and I didn't want everybody to see and hear that. Perfect time to plug health insurance, right? But
Yeah, right.
I want to remind everybody why it's so important for everybody to have health insurance. If you don't have coverage through a spouse or, Medicare or some sort of coverage. When I was 21, I was 2 days off my father's insurance. To make a long story short, I wound up being one of 5 kids in Atlanta, Georgia, who had bacterial meningitis. I spent 6 weeks in a coma, 6 to 8 weeks in a coma. I don't really remember how long it was. And then I had to spend like 8 months learning how to walk and talk again. I ran up millions and millions of dollars of health bills trying to save my life. And I filed bankruptcy at 22 after I started to heal from that. And luckily, got my life back on track. But that's also why it took me so long to finish college and do things. At this age, I don't know what I would do if I had something like that happen. So even it may not be the coverage for you, but I do believe in health insurance, and I do believe as a small business owner, you have to think about those things, major medical at minimum. So these are real life, not life insurance, real health insurance plans. So I hope if you don't have coverage or if you think that marketplace is too expensive, you'll at least talk to Delora so that you know what your options are. Sometimes she may be higher, and that's okay. It depends on your medical history, which is all the way all health insurance works. So sometimes it may be lower, sometimes it may be higher, but at least you can compare those products that she has available for you. I really believe in it, and if I can say so, I think it's a smart business decision to kind of analyze your options there because it's cost savings throughout the year. So I appreciate you stopping by today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, I think the next question we're going to take is from Jack Form again. And it looks like Mr. Nichols got this one flagged for him. Should I request a higher fee if the number of pages is more than a certain amount, such as 300 pages, for example? Also, what if I have to print additional pages at the time of the signing? I'm just wondering what's reasonable to expect since paper isn't cheap and we usually have to print a client copy as well.
So first of all, and then the person who wrote this question in, if you want to raise your hand, I know that you're from Arizona. There really shouldn't be 300-page files, and I know that we get them sometimes at Unlimited Ink. And usually, if it's 300 pages, it is the appraisal that is making it be 300 pages. Now, I have had some clients here, not my clients, but signing services that I've worked for be 300 pages, and it was like 2 copies, 3 copies of different things in the packages. If they're giving you a lot of business, okay, if they're giving you a great deal of business and it is one time that it comes up, that is just the cost of being in business. Okay, let's ask this. Let's say, and I'd like let a really wonderful white glove notary go over this because Travis and I were just tired of the nickel and diming. Okay, if a standard loan package is between anywhere from 60 to 175 pages. Anything that falls in between that, that's standard. Okay. Printing costs are not signing services or title companies' problems. That is for you to determine how to buy your toner, your ink, the paper, and shop for those deals. And every business owner, that's why there are so many calls for toner, paper, everything over the phone, because there are cost saving services. I had my printing costs down so low when I was out in the field that it never occurred to me what I was printing. you want to make sure you have your cost down, number one, but number two, if it's like an appraisal, you don't have to print 2 copies of that, especially if it's not signed. And the notaries that work with me, and I'm not saying that if you print the copy of the appraisal for the signer and you don't return it, I don't care, because I don't need that for closing, unless it was signed. If there's like read and approve, you may need to get those pages done. And if you're good at as you should be with dividing up pages and looking and knowing what to print, you can do those things. And I've done it for years, and we have a lot of our white gloves that are, higher level, because they know how to use page count and print only from here to here, and they know not to miss anything. When you're at that level, but in the beginning, if you're very new, you want to be careful counter offering. Sometimes when I send out, actually all the time when I send out a signing, even if the documents are ready, I don't know how many pages are in it. And you don't want to be the notary, especially if you're building a following of signing services or building a following of title companies that are using you on SnapDocs and signing order, as the notary who is always the one to counter offer. Now, if you're working with unlimited ink, and it's in our instructions, as long as before the signing starts, before you hit print, if you call us and you say, hey, look, this is pretty excessive, we may tell you, hey, you don't need to actually print all this. We might say you need to print everything. And then we'll consider, a fee. Also, printing, when people say, it's $300, or 300 pages, and then they want, like, I think their fee for counter for those pages, you were already going to have to print 150 of those. So when you give me a price of $25, $30, which is double the pack of a paper, I'm like, are you kidding me? Let's break this down to brass tacks. Let's see how many pages you're printing. How much does your toner cost? And I'll give you $4 for it, because that's what it's going to cost you to print the extra. Like, if you do it once, I'm more likely to give a good fee, for printing that. But if you do it every time, I'm just going to start going to the notary who doesn't. And a lot of signing services and title companies are going to do that. Now, if you only work with them one time, that's your opportunity to say, this is to get my order count up, or this is for experience, or this is to maybe get more business. It's only when you have a relationship that you really should counter offer. I can't tell you how many notaries come up with so many reasons on counter offer and don't get the job, and they would have gotten it if they just took the assignment. Printing cost and all of those things are really, on the notary, and you have to do those things. Miss Beth, you wanted to chime in on that?
I just want to make a quick comment. I think sometimes people overestimate how much their printing costs really are. Seriously. When you consider being able to buy paper on sale, toner on sale, and you calculate those printing costs, if you ask for a fee bump and you get anything more than $10, I would be surprised. And I agree with Mr. Mickle that you don't want to do it if you're brand new working for that company. You don't want to start your relationship off with, this isn't enough money. I also want to make a comment that 300 pages seems to be kind of normal in one particular industry, and that's in the manufactured home or mobile home. Here is my signing for Saturday. It's 313 pages. It does not have an appraisal on it. It is a manufactured home.
Oh, Beth, you just printed that for show.
I wish.
I'm just kidding.
313 pages, y'all.
I had no idea that was going to come up. That is amazing that you had that on hand.
I had to sneak off camera real quick and go get it. But seriously, those loans are out there. But even so, even if you have to print all of them, that's a REMA paper at 0.001 cents per page. There's actually an estimator on the Facebook group. It's an estimator from John Blast, and he made this calculating spreadsheet where you can put in your printer toner costs and your paper costs and find out exactly how much you're spending on printing. When you find out how little it actually is, it's going to surprise you. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Thank you, Ms. Beth. We've got two hands raised before we go to the next question. And the next question that was written in is actually really good. So I'd love to hear your take on it, and I want to put my take on it. But let's get these hands that are raised up real quick. Ms. Sherry Ann, you're up next.
Of the conversation that was just happening. I try where I live, I try not to, I haven't been taking offers in the city because I know I am 2 toll bridges away from the city. So I actually counter offered, and they're expensive. One time I didn't. I ate the toll bridge free, but they were fees. They were about $20. And then another time they were going to actually be $25. So is that a good reason to counter offer, or just don't accept? Because I wanted to do it, but it was very costly for me to get there.
Well, here's the thing. There may be a notary. So a lot of these signing services send out orders, let's say that there's a notary within 1 mile of the signing that doesn't need to go through those tolls. And then you have to go through 2 tolls, right? If you counter offer and you say respectfully, there are 2 toll charges of, I would need this to get there, then the signing service is going to say, okay, I really need this notary to go through those 2 tolls to get there. And I'm going to pay for their 2 tolls or charge the client for those 2 tolls. But the notary on the other side may be like, fine, I'm already here. I don't need to go through. So I will do that. And by the way, I'm a big fan of the if you guys are notaries in like Miami or in your area, Miss Sherry Ann, or if you have to go back and forth with the Georgia 400, I get the passes. They save you money. In Arizona, we have like, don't we have something for like the lane where you can get in certain lanes and things? I'm a big believer of those. If you live in areas where you have to access those, it'll save you money, and it's a tax write-off at that point, even if you're using it personally, because you are buying it so that you can work. So you can write those off on your taxes as an expense for your car. I would say that whenever you counter offer, just respectfully say, this is why, and that's it. You don't have to write a whole paragraph. Just say, respectfully, there are 2 tolls. I would need additional $40, and that's it. And go from there. Does that answer your question? Perfect. Thank you for that question. And then we have Yvonne right here from Arizona.
Yes, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Hi. So this is ahead of the game, probably a bit, but what does it take to be a white glove notary? And I did go to the FAQ page and I didn't see anything. I typed white glove and I didn't see anything specific to being a white glove notary.
So every company has its own standard of white glove service. At Unlimited Ink Notary, in a nutshell, you need to have Notary to Pro, Notary Stars, and over 150 orders without an error. So that means 150 consecutive orders with no errors. And believe me,
With Unlimited Ink.
yeah, believe me that is a feat that goes pretty fast. If you're, putting your nose to the grind. And here's the good thing about Unlimited Ink white glove notary services. If you get to that 150 order status, that means that you have 150 orders under your belt. We're not the only one that's going to hire after they see Notary Pro, Notary Stars, and that 150 orders. Your other companies are going to start staking you out and snaking you. And I used to hate that, but now I promote so many notaries out. I hate when I have a great notary and they're doing so good for us, and then they start getting staked out by other companies. But that's what's supposed to happen. So gotta share, right? Gotta share. I preach it, gotta live it. But that's in a nutshell what a white glove is to us. Now, other companies have other parameters that you have to jump through.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Beth, are you ready for the next question?
I would be ready.
Okay. We've all experienced this one, Ms. Beth, and I want to hear from you first on this one, because I know that you have a different take on this, I'm sure. But it says, I've had it up to here with booking general notary work and deciders canceling at the last minute after they've taken up the real estate on my calendar. What's a fair non-refundable percentage to charge?
Oh, that's a really good question. And yeah, you're going to run into that. people will book your services and they'll keep shopping, and they're going to find somebody that's cheaper or can do it quicker or whatever those reasons are, and they'll cancel with you. But what I do want to tell you is just be absolutely certain that you can charge a cancellation fee in your state. Arizona, we can't do any ancillary fees. So we're kind of hogtied here, but decide what's fair. What's your cancellation fee? There's a trip fee that should be included in your total that you give for your service. You've got your price per certificate or per notarization, and then your trip time and trip fee. Maybe that's the fee that you charge up front, and you let them know I require a deposit of this much. If we complete the notarization, I will put that toward that total fee. Or if you cancel the appointment, that fee is forfeited. Kind of like going to the doctor's office. If you don't cancel within a reasonable amount of time, they send you a bill for 25 bucks, right? But you just need to make sure that you can charge those fees in your state. I'm going to say this though, even if you get that deposit up front, or let's say you don't and you charge them on the back end as a cancellation fee, there's a really good chance that they're just going to reverse those charges on their credit card and you're not going to see it anyway. So my experience when talking to lots of other notaries, even if they get that fee charged in advance, it ends up being a contested charge and they never see the money. So, Mr. Mickle?
I have two takes on this, and then I want to hear from Nancy, who actually wrote in the question. First of all, you need to make sure that you have a good terms of service, and I don't do general notary work unless you've paid me up front. So that means you need to have a good way for customers to pay you at the time of booking. If you don't have a way to send a Stripe invoice or whatever, and I just let them know, like, I'm not going to even consider your order until it's paid. I love you, but it ain't happening. I'm a lot nicer than that when it's done very professionally, but I just let the customers know, as soon as you pay your invoice, the wheels start turning. You have to have a good terms and conditions in place for them to agree to at checkout that protects you. When it comes to going to the jail, if they lock the jail down, you need to have things for in place. If you've ever been to the jail and they say, well, you can't come in today, the signer is taking a risk of sending you there. We actually have that in place in our terms and conditions. For hospital signings, if we get there and they're not coherent, and we've asked you over the phone and they go, they were just coherent 10 minutes ago. They weren't. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but they know. You have to have something in place for terms and conditions. Miss Beth mentioned something, and by the way, when you put your terms and conditions into play, a lot of times if you do get a chargeback, you have an opportunity to dispute that chargeback, and you can say, "Here's my terms and conditions." By the way, if you ever try to charge back at Notary Stars, you're going to have a chargeback. I had made a notary cry about this recently. Because I sat back and said, they're lying. Here's our terms and conditions. Here's where they logged in. Here's where they watched all the stuff. Here's their IP address. And here's them on camera attending classes. And they just cried and they were like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, yep, now you burned a bridge. But when you go out to a signing, this is another reason why, and we tell our notaries, in Arizona, it's not required to take a thumbprint, right, Miss Beth?
Correct.
We have people at jails all the time because and don't get me wrong, some mothers who have children in jail are good mothers, but their friends ain't. A lot of them are guilty by association. We have a lot of people who go to jail that come in and then they charge back the service, or families that just don't have that much money. I go to the hospital and we do the service and then they charge it back thinking I can just get back this money. It is easy if you know how. That thumbprint, when you actually complete the service, if you are allowed to ask for that thumbprint, you will never lose a chargeback. And it's in our notary instructions on general notary work that if you take a thumbprint, you are 100,000% guaranteed your fee. because I have the thumbprint of the person who ordered the signing. So you definitely want to come up with your processes. If you'd like to talk more about that, definitely in my marketing course, we talk about these things, and I have videos on this subject. It's a little bit longer, but we talk about terms and conditions in the course as well. You definitely want to protect yourself. And if you ever want to know about a good terms and conditions, just go to your 5 biggest competitors and look at their terms and conditions. And if they don't have a terms and conditions, they're not really your competitor.
Nancy still has her hand out.
Yes, Miss Nancy.
Okay, thank you. You said about being allowed to charge cancellation fees in your state. Where would I go to find out if I'm allowed to do that in my state?
For cancellation,
Correct.
yeah, it's going to be in your handbook. Whatever those fees are that are defined in your handbook, Arizona's restricted to X number of pennies per mile as a travel fee and a certificate completion fee, right? That's it. No other ancillary fees. What does Florida say?
Okay, I'll have to look. Okay, I didn't know that it would be in there, so, but I will look in there.
It's not listed as a cancellation fee, but you can determine that based on what Florida tells you your fees are. You can you do a travel fee, a wait fee, a certificate fee. If it doesn't say other ancillary fees, then you probably need to make a phone call to your licensing agency.
Okay, perfect. And the terms and conditions that you're talking about, Ronnie, you put that on your website or like on the shop form that you send to them for them to pay you?
It depends wherever their chart, wherever they're a lot of times, like you have a Calendly, so you would put it in the terms and conditions there. There's a way to put it in there. You would build your terms and conditions, and then if you charge on your website, you link it there. A lot of times, Jotform, Calendly, they have a place where you can link to a specific web page. And this can be one of the projects for you this month. If you want, we can create you a terms and conditions. And then anything that you're using, you just put the link. Because you ever see that page where it says click here to say I read it? It's always a different page.
Right.
That is an independent web page with terms and conditions of how you run your business and what they're agreeing to book with you.
Okay, perfect. And yes, let's do that.
You gotta say
Thank you.
thank you.
We have Miss Amy Seitz has her hand up as well. Mr. Mickle, we want to go to Amy.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome, Amy. Long time no see. Hope you're feeling better.
Hello. I can actually talk without coughing. It's, amazing. But I wanted to give her a little bit of information out of Florida. There is no doctrine or legal thing for cancellations. So she can set her own cancellation fees, but she has different allocations on technology, notarizations, things like that. But in Florida, she's kind of got a free for all, so she can really do a lot. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're feeling better. Miss Beth, I know this is going to skip around, and I know you well enough to say that I know you like to go in order, but I really want to get this question in because we're running out of time today.
That's
And
because you're going to answer it, right?
what's that?
Go ahead.
And it's really a question that's for you, and I want to say something. Another thing that happened in a Facebook group, and this is why we don't use Facebook University to learn from other notaries. We go to professional training companies. We do, again, our Facebook group is not a part of our paid training platform. And if you are one of our members, you know the answer to this already, but we had a notary who posted about the holidays on our right to cancel. So Miss Beth wrote a post and someone commented on it, that's irrelevant. And I'm like, well, I want to talk to you on Tuesday when all your signings go bad. So Miss Beth, the question is, when a holiday changes the right RTC or the right to cancel date, how do we know when it is observed on a holiday?
That is a really good question, and one that we recently added a training to the website on. It's not a video, it's just kind of like a handout or a document training. But we all know that we have to watch our rescission calendars in order to make sure that our right to cancels in our files are correct. Because guys, listen, I'm telling you, even title and escrow can make a mistake, and you would be an absolute hero if you caught an error and corrected it, had it initialed at the table before sending it back. When we talk about holidays that are observed, it means it's referencing your title company in respect to closing on the file. So for instance, Veterans Day was on Saturday. Your title company may observe it on Friday. We call those push holidays. Saturdays push back to Friday, Sundays push forward to Monday. And government offices do the same thing. They are a push holiday. Maybe it might ultimately end up with the same number of days that you're skipping when it falls over a weekend, but it has more to do when your title company, the title company that's closing and funding that file, what day they observe that holiday. That's the day that you're using for the rescission. And that's what we talk about in that training document.
And then I know Miss Beth and I have a conflicting view on this because there are some pretty rescission calendars out there. But there is only one that will get us out of trouble. And that is the National Notary Association rescission calendar. It is the industry standard. Every title company in the world and every signing service in the world expects you to be a National Notary Association member.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people who will recreate the calendars. And good for them. And some of them will charge you, some of them have them for free and rebrand them. We don't do that at Notary Stars because the NNA already does it for us. We provide you the link to it and remind you to use it. Coming from a signing service owner, I will tell you that 25% of the people who try to calculate dates in their head, even without a holiday, get them wrong.
Yeah.
Go back to the signing. So, as a signing agent, when I used to go out in the field, I looked and wrote it down every day what today was, when is the date, when is the right of rescission, and I used it all day long. And I kept that little sheet of paper. It was just part of my processes. And if I ever didn't write it down on my first signing, I would pull out my little calendar and look at it and make sure I knew it. And that was what I used all day long. It is one small, simple task.
That's why we don't generate a rescission calendar. There's a lot of companies out there that do. But I'm telling you, if you make a mistake and you go back to your hiring company and say, well, Notary Stars said it was this date, they're not going to care. But if you go back and say NNA rescission calendar said it was this date, then they're going to sit up and pay attention. So you probably get out of trouble on the NNA reference to the rescission calendar, but not on anybody else's version. That's just a fact.
And don't get me wrong, I've tried to recreate them and make them pretty and make a Notary Stars one. I tried 3 times and I messed up on a different date. And then once you mess up one date, guess what? They're all messed up. So the whole month is messed up. So it only takes one small error. You know, and I know that there are signing services who provide you the rescission dates. NNA only. That is your, if you get anything from tonight's call, the National Notary Association rescission calendar, if they gave us anything, they gave us that. And it'll be right. And you can always count on it. Don't count on anyone else for the rescission calendar but them. I want to go because we only have we're almost done. We're running out of time, but I think there's one more really great question in here, Miss Beth, that I want to get to. Sorry, I'm going to get back to the. Okay, can we do the conflict of interest question?
Sure.
I think that this is a really great one, and then we can end the call for tonight. So a son who's the attorney, in fact, of his mother signs a quitclaim deed as the notary. In fact, for his mother transferring the family home, it sounds like a complicated math problem, from his mother to himself. when there are two other siblings in the family, thereby excluding these siblings and legal heirs of the mother from any interest in the property. Now the son lives in the home with his family while the other siblings live out of state. Deed is properly notarized and witnessed. What is your take on that?
My take is that we have to be careful not to insert ourselves into situations that we might perceive to be underhanded. It's not a conflict of interest for the son to sign as attorney in fact for his mother, even if he's transferring the property to himself. That seems to be a detail that is an afterthought, or could have been, or anyone else that he would have transferred the property to. We just don't have enough information here to determine if there's some sort of scam playing out, and it's not our place to ask. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I put that question into the chat because I don't know if I butchered actually reading the question, and I put it into the chat so everybody could read it as it was delivered to us, because that's kind of a head twister. I think this goes right along the lines of, you know, we had a situation earlier today, Ms. Beth, where I talked to you and someone was said, oh, I'm going to talk to the police and I'm going to talk to the notary and they're going to talk to Unlimited Ink. And, you know, here's where I land with that. We don't have any say. If we're properly notarizing a document, somebody brings it to us and we do it properly, we have them signed properly and we execute it properly, we don't really have a say in anything. Our job ultimately, you know, as a loan signing agent, we wear this other hat for title and escrow, but only for title and escrow. And we only are to give a general description of the document, a good general description, or be able to help people locate information. But when it comes to the legality of documents, Ms. Beth is right, we can't insert ourselves into situations, but we don't really have a say on anything. I mean, our job is to record the document, make sure that it was witnessed, make sure that they were willing to sign it, make sure that they signed it properly. Sure, as loan signing agents, but when you're working with the general public, that's all you do. When you work as a loan signing agent, you are hired as a representative for title, escrow, or attorneys to give a great general description of the document and know what you can't say. So Ms. Beth is right, we cannot insert ourselves into the legality or what it means or what the legal ramifications are. Our job is to simply notarize the documents properly, make sure that the signers sign in the right places, and that's it. You know, sure, as loan signing agents, we give a good general description. As now for you know, notary trust delivery agents, we give a great description of the document, but ultimately we have no say, and we should not even attempt to cross those lines. You know, we walk up to the line, we say that's the line, and we don't go any further. And I'll leave it at that, because you guys know I can talk the air off of a horse, and we are now 4 minutes over for tonight. So Ms. Beth, guys, if you had a question and we didn't get to it, first of all, we had more questions today than we've ever had. I'm so excited, but we only have an hour for the segment. And I would love for you guys to come back next week. Any Monday that's not a holiday, we do this the same. How do they say it? The same bat time, same bat channel, same Notary Stars time, same Notary Stars channel. The link that you're on tonight is the same link we use every single week. Please send it to a friend, and you know, bring another notary next week. Tonight we had up to 115 people on the call. Sometimes we have more than that. For those of you on the East Coast, God bless you for staying up so late with us tonight. For those of you on the West Coast, I'm hungry. But turn on those cameras and let's say officially good night.
Don't forget,
if you are not naked and running around your apartment dancing to some other songs in your ear pods, turn on those cameras and wave to yourself. If you come back for the replay, wave to those who couldn't be here tonight because they were at a signing or helping their mama or their daddy. Miss Beth, how do we really say it here at Notary Stars? And I do want to see those cameras turn on, guys, because I love seeing all those stars that y'all are buying to put in the background. Thank y'all so much for being here. But Miss Beth, how do we really say it here at Notary Stars professionally?
Well, while you're waving with one hand, download and save the chat with the other, okay? And just remember, guys, whoever said that this was an easy job just does not understand the mechanics of it. I'm telling you, everybody is trying to get somewhere. This is all about how we get there together. So please, just remember to reach back and grab the hand of another notary and take them with you on your journey. Thanks, guys. Everybody have a good evening.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us.